Welcome back, Irish fans, to Breaking Down Braves Boys podcast. A brutal loss for Notre Dame tonight. Loss that shouldn't have happened. Um, this is going to be one of the rougher post-game shows. St. Mary's, we had some good things out of it. I guess to an extent we did this game too in the first half. We'll get into the first half later, talk about what I liked from it. But first, so just some general thoughts. Want to preface all this with saying I thought Texas A&M played really hard. I don't think Texas A&M is that great of a basketball team. Notre Dame's a better team than Texas A&M. Notre Dame should not have lost this basketball game. And we'll talk about why Notre Dame did lose this game in a second. But I wanted to preface it with saying props to Texas A&M to start. They played really hard. If I were to build a team without getting like five-star recruits, I'd build it how Buzz Williams has built Texas A&M. Just get athletes, a deep team that can overwhelm people, and they clearly overwhelmed Notre Dame tonight. So going into where things went wrong tonight, it starts with the rotation. Bray has played 7 guys essentially for 40 minutes on Tuesday, 7 guys, 38 minutes 40 minutes Monday, 38 minutes Tuesday, and 40 minutes on Wednesday. That's not how you win basketball games in a tournament like this. Where is J.R. Knesny, a guy who averaged close to 30 points last year, albeit not in a great conference? That tells you he can score. And then Elijah Taylor's the more obvious one here. Texas A&M, what do? They wear you down physically. They have athletes. They get your big men in foul trouble. The perfect guy to combat that is your third big man is Elijah Taylor. Good athlete, can help defend when guys are in foul trouble, is going to play really hard down low, is going to grab rebounds, and he wasn't in the game tonight. I don't get that. If there's one thing that irks me about Mike Bray, it's that the rotation management. To me, he's come off stubborn about that. I love Mike Bray. I think Mike Bray has got a little too much flack in the last few years, but this is brutal. I don't know how you can not. Last night, these guys should have been in with 5 to 7 minutes left in the game. Notre Dame was up like 20, and Prentice Hub and Trey Wirtz and all Blake Wesley, Cormac Ryan, Dane Goodwin, all the guys who were gassed at the end of the game tonight, all the guys who were fouling because they were tired, they couldn't move their feet as well, they had to use their hands. Those are the guys that were playing too much last night when Notre Dame had a sizable lead. It's good to have guys like Hub and Nate in there last night to get them in a rhythm, but gosh, they mismanaged that last night. They had such a nice opportunity to get a look at their young guys and get some rest, and they didn't. So the rotation, I think, was a huge reason that they lost this game. If they're going to play in a multi-team event like this, or come ACC tournament time, and if they can get it together March Madness, they're going to have to play more than 7 guys in order to make a run in any of those events. So that was brutal by Mike Bray. I can't put it any other way. I don't see why you can't play JR and Taylor 5 minutes in the first half just to spot your guys. I don't get it. Even Tony Sanders could have came in and defended and made some plays athletically. Matt Zona could have been physical down low, but they didn't use any of it. So moving on to another reason they lost, Notre Dame couldn't break the press. Is that a shocker? Notre Dame has, 4 senior guards, and none of them could break the press. Prentice Hub ended with 7 turnovers. We'll get into his performance in a little bit. Did he end with 7 turnovers, or was it? It was 8 turnovers towards the end of the game. So just a brutal game for Prentice Hub. I've tried to defend him. He's going to get going eventually. I'm not going to get emotional and say that he's not. He's going to get going eventually, but I'm concerned about him in the short term. Like I said last night, in Illinois, is he going to give you anything? That you're going to need him to give you something if you're going to win that game. Boston College, is he going to give you anything? Could you have another embarrassing loss there? Because this is an embarrassing loss. Texas A&M, I think, is a mid to low half SEC basketball team, probably close to that low half. They do have some athletes. They have some good players, Quentin Jackson, Tyrese Radford. Henry Coleman didn't show us a whole lot tonight, but he is a transfer from Duke who is pretty talented. And they have just a lot of good players, but credit to them. I don't know that they deserve this win, but they definitely played hard enough to get it. and take it out of Notre Dame's hands. But Notre Dame's guards have to break that press. There's no two ways about it. Blake Wesley, I'll give somewhat of a pass because he's a freshman, and he wasn't really making mistakes with the press. He wasn't in the game enough to make mistakes. But Notre Dame's older guards have to do better with that, particularly Prentice Hub. And, I don't want to rag on them too much, but these guys know they have to be better. Mike Bray knows they have to be better. And we haven't seen signs that it's going to get better based on the last few years and the issues they've had just over and over and over again. It's so frustrating to see this. But I guess I'll go into the first half, and then we'll go to the second half more. Notre Dame didn't have a great half offensively at 33 points, but they were good enough to get a big lead. You kind of could tell Texas A&M was kind of going to make a run, just whether Notre Dame could combat it. They weren't shooting the ball well at all offensively. The defense did look better. I thought in the first half they looked solid. Texas A&M also didn't hit shots, though, but Notre Dame out-rebounded them by a lot, by 10, and that's impressive considering Texas A&M's big guys. But as Notre Dame's bigs got worn down, got in foul trouble, that kind of disintegrated as well. Javonte Brown is a big guy. Cash is also a big guy that kind of killed Notre Dame on the boards towards the end. But the first half, all of the offense was flowing well, and towards the start of the second half, it was too. They were matching pretty much everything Texas A&M was throwing at them. But towards the end, Notre Dame just couldn't get it to happen, and that's so frustrating. I still think this is a team that has potential, but Notre Dame's they can't lose games like this consistently. This is a game you have to win, especially with you're playing Illinois, you're playing Indiana coming up, Kentucky. You had to win a game like this just to have a Power 5 win. And is their first Power 5 win going to come against Illinois? I'm not super high on Illinois, but Notre Dame hasn't given us much reason to believe that they're going to beat them. So just so frustrating overall. Standouts, I thought Dane Goodwin has been playing really good basketball lately, and the end doesn't change that. He did have that one turnover towards the end, but he had 18 points. Wasn't super efficient tonight, but just looked so calm. Was getting to the free throw line, was making plays, and I love to see that from Dane Goodwin. I know a lot of people don't want to hear about great performances, but Dane Goodwin, I don't know if he was great tonight, but he had a great week. If he can continue that into conference play, Notre Dame will be in a much, much better spot than they have been in past years because Dane hasn't been great in conference play, especially shooting splits. But I thought he was okay tonight. Good week for him, even though Notre Dame didn't have a great week in general. Paul Atkinson, I don't think is 100%. I thought he was okay tonight. Was getting doubled. Only so much he can do there, but had a lot of hockey assists and had 2 assists in general. I'm not super concerned about Paul Atkinson. Had double figures, so kept a streak going. What concerns me is he only had 5 rebounds. Notre Dame looked like they were handling them on the glass in the first half, but then in the second half, not so much. Nate Laszewski ended with 6 rebounds, Atkinson with 5. Dane Goodwin was actually their leading rebounder, so another big time stat for Dane Goodwin, 18 and 8. Yeah, this is brutal. I was checking my mentions on Twitter, and they're kind of blowing up. But I'll get back to you guys in a minute if you're watching this and or one of those mentions. But Notre Dame just went final 73-67 loss. Not many other standouts. Blake Wesley played okay. Hit a big shot at the end of the shot clock. Negative standout was Prentice Hub. I'm not going to rag on Prentice Hub too much. He's had enough of that lately. But tonight was not his night, and he hasn't really had a night this year. Offensively, I thought he had a decent first half, even if he wasn't hitting shots. He was kind of taking Notre Dame through the offense a little bit better. But towards the second half, 7 turnovers and couldn't get the ball up the court towards the end of the game. I think Prentice Hub's going to get it turned around, like I said, but this was a brutal performance for him tonight. Trey Wirtz, I didn't think was that good. 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting. Didn't hit a 3. It felt like he had way more than 1 turnover, but I guess he didn't. Nate was okay, 7 points. I liked that he was attacking a little more offensively and he got some big boy rebounds, especially one in the fourth quarter that didn't end up paying off. But I think he looked a lot better tonight and last night than he did before last night. Hopefully he can take that momentum into some games like Illinois, where he's going to have a tough matchup with Coleman Hawkins, and they're going to need him to produce there. But I don't think this is the end of the world. Certainly got to get one or two of those, probably two of Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois now to make a case in the non-conference. This was a big chance for Notre Dame to get a Power 5 win and have some momentum going into Illinois, and they couldn't do it. Just a brutal game. I don't have too much else to cover. I just think I guess I'll go into a wrap on Maui, Vegas, whatever. This was not a successful trip for Notre Dame, especially tonight. St. Mary's, I'm fine with that loss. St. Mary's went to the final. St. Mary's is a good basketball team. Probably going to finish top 2 or 3 in the West Coast Conference. And that conference looks a lot better this year. But I'm okay with that loss. Notre Dame played fine in that game. Just had a bad drought scoring-wise. I thought they were fine, though. Last night they were okay. Division II team. That's not really going to affect their resume at all. And then tonight, just they had to win that game to get anything out of this week, and they didn't. So, yeah, this week was a failure for Notre Dame. I hate to say it. Last time they played in the Maui, it certainly wasn't, but this time it was. Notre Dame didn't get much out of this week with their resume. I think they improved a little bit offensively this week, which is good to see. And defensively, I thought they had a couple chances to play together, and that was good. But resume-wise, Notre Dame didn't get anything out of this week, really. But they're going to have to get it going soon. I'm not completely out on this team. I think they have talent. I think once Prentice Hub gets going offensively, once we can see Nate get it going more consistently, I think they'll be fine. But they got to play more than 7 guys, especially in an event like this. Against a team like this who's going 11 deep, I don't know what to say about that. I don't want to torch Bray for this, but man, I don't know about it. I don't even know what to say. I've tried to be less of a raging fanboy and more objective, but this one gets me fired up. I don't know what else to say. Notre Dame should have had this win. They would have been in so much better of a spot if they got this win, and they didn't. So not much else to say. We'll probably be back with an Illinois preview this weekend. Wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Got lost in all this, and reasonably so, but hope everybody is safe and gets to spend some good time with their family. Certainly didn't get to spend some good time with Notre Dame tonight, but hope everybody has a good holiday and a good weekend off. And we'll be back soon with an Illinois preview. So thank you guys for watching. Go Irish, and I'll be back soon.